Alright, y'all, let's talk about Chilombo. I'm hella excited. Y'all ready? Let's get it.
I came to vibe, you came to function, just do that, baby. Don't worry about nothing, no. I came to vibe, you came to function, just do that, baby. Don't worry about nothing, no.
What's good, y'all? It's your boy Bright here, the R&B kid. I'm back in with another review for y'all, and on today's video I'm gonna be talking about Jhene Aiko's new album Chilombo. Yo, for my long-time viewers and supporters, y'all know I love Jhene. I think she's amazing. She's one of my favorite, like, you know, R&B artists of this generation. She's so consistent. She has her own identity, her own lane, and she sticks with it. And she knows her pocket, and she's very, like, you know, respectful of it, and she just always caters to her fan base, and she just always minds her business, and she's just dope. So I love Jhene Aiko. I've always loved her since day one. I've been on her since 2011 when she first came on the scene, and she's now back with her third studio album called Chilombo, which is her last name, and I think in an African language I think it's translated to wild beast. So I know this is a very special album for her, and I think this is going to be a very special album in her catalog. This is her third album. She released it this past Friday on March 6, 2020 on RTM Records, which I think is No ID's label, and also Def Jam. So yeah, man, I'm really excited for this review. Let's get into it. Oh yeah, and happy International Women's Day, y'all. Today's March 8th. Happy International Women's Day. I think this is a great album for this weekend. A lot of albums dropped this weekend. Megan Thee Stallion, Lil Uzi Vert. But I think Jhene Aiko released her album at a good time, because I feel like her album is very, like, it's very empowering album for many women. So I think this is a good album to drop this week. I haven't done an album review in a while for y'all. Sorry, I've been focused on other stuff, you know, between work and school, and, you know, earlier this year I was focused on a lot on the Grammys and the Oscars and other stuff like that. So I've not done a lot of album reviews for y'all lately, but I'm trying to get back into that on a more frequent basis. So let's start off with Jhene Aiko's album Chilombo. So yeah, man, like I said, I'm gonna do my track by track review, then I'll get into my overall thoughts about the album at the end, and give y'all my favorite tracks and give y'all my rating. All right, so let's go. I think I've said all I need to say. No rambling. Let's get into it. Jhene Aiko Chilombo review. Y'all ready? Let's go. Alright, y'all, so the album starts off with the track Lotus intro, which is a really, like, cute intro for the album that had a little story to it, but, you know, with just a piano under it, talking about, I think, this woman named Chilombo, you know, which means wild beast, and how, like, a volcano erupted, and, like, you know, everything was fucked up, but then, like, there were, you know, new things being born anew. So I think kind of set up the vibe for the album and kind of the overall story for the album. So I think it was a really dope intro in that way. Next up, we got Triggered Freestyle, which was actually the first single off of the album. It came out last May, and ever since I've loved this track. I feel like this track is so well written and arranged in the form of a freestyle, and I love the way I just love what this track was talking about, with having someone who you were in love with, but then things fell out, and then they just always trigger you when you think about them, and, you know, and it affects how you moving forward in your life in different ways. So it was a really cool track. I know it's about Big Sean and when they were going through that shit. So, and I feel like, yeah, her experience where Big Sean lately was really imprinted throughout this whole album, but mainly on a track like this, you really felt it. I really love this track. I really feel like it deserved a nod for a Grammy nod for Best R&B Song last year. I really feel like it should have been nominated for Best R&B Song. This song is so well written, so well arranged in the form of a freestyle, and I loved it. So yeah, this is the first thing off the album, and we've been love this joint. I still love it now, so dope track. Speaking of Big Sean, up next we got the track None of Your Concern featuring him. This track is a really interesting savage track where Jhene Aiko's pretty much just, like, you know, telling her dude, listen, you know, what I'm doing right now in my life, how I'm moving forward, what I'm getting into right now is none of your concern. You know, this is the OD, you know, breakup fallout track, and I think it was cool how she invited Big Sean to come on this track, and also to give his response and give his little rap verse to kind of, like, you know, respond to what she was saying in the song too. So I think this is a really cool track. I think it was mature, and I think it was also really cool for both of them to, like, obviously express the turmoil that they went through in their relationship when they were not on the best of terms, and also, like, beautifully express it on a track where they both weren't really, I mean, they were, like, dogging each other out in different ways. You know, Jhene Aiko talking about her shit, and Big Sean talking about, listen, like, you know, I made you come 9 times in one day, what's up? Like, you know, they both were talking their shit, but, like, it was still respectful and still, like, real as hell. So I love this track. It was really cool concept. Shout out to Big Sean with the response. You know, he came through with the dope verse that responded to what she was saying, and I appreciated Jhene's, like, savage on this track too, but this track was still a vibe at the same time, so this is definitely a cool track. Next up, we got the track Speak. This is a whole anthem for all the women out there. Like I said, Happy Natasha Women's Day. I feel like this is one of the, probably the track off the album that speaks mostly to the empowering of women. And she, you know, on the track, she's talking about, listen, like, you know, speak, be free, be who you want to be. She's talking about, you know, I'm gonna wear that dress that you don't like because you think I look naked in it, but I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna do what I want to do. So this track is really cool, like, you know, empowering anthem for women, just telling them to do what they want to do, live their lives, be, you know, be proud of who they are, speak for themselves, be free, find your freedom, find your strength. So yeah, really cool anthem. This track is really big. I love what she did with it. I'm glad that she made a track like this for all women out there. And I love the riffing towards the end of the track as well. I love what she did with the vocal riffing. It was dope. Next up, we got the track BS featuring Her. Man, I love this track. This was definitely one of the instant highlights to me off this album. Instant highlight. I love that this collab finally happened and it's perfect. And I feel like this is just another dope banger for both ladies. I love the bounce on this record and the melody that was chosen as well. I love the bounce and the melody. And I also really appreciate this track because I feel like it's one of the first like real like flex tracks we got from Jhene, and I feel like it just works, like, you know, especially with her bringing the her sound, the her vibe into the record as well. I love what they did with it, you know, just talking about, listen, I'm on my BS, I'm on my bullshit, you know, I'm doing my thing now, I don't need this dude, I'm figuring my life out. Like, I really like this track, what it's talking about. I love the energy on it. Like I said, the bounce is dope, it knocks, but it's still chill and it's still a vibe at the same time. Yeah, all around I think this was a great collab for both ladies. I'm glad they finally made it happen. I think this is their first collaboration. It's amazing, and the flex vibe of it just works, but it's still a cool track. So all around, I love BS. Great track. I feel like this is one of the songs that should definitely be giving a lot of energy off this album and definitely should be a feature single. I love this track. So shout out to Jhene and Her for finally making this collab happen, and they killed it. It's perfect. Alright, y'all, next up is the track Pussy Fairy on the Way. It feels so weird to say that, but shout out to Jhene. But yeah, man, listen, we gotta give it to Jhene for really taking it back to the 90s with this one. I love this track. She took it straight back to the 90s with this vibe, with the production, the lyrics, the arrangement. This track just rides, and it's expertly arranged in such a pure R&B way. You know, as you know, me being an R&B kid, I just love what Jhene did with this. Jhene's always been an R&B, like, you know, R&B person through and through, but I love what she did with this sound, with this vibe. And shout out to the producer, Ledge Keys, for this amazing 90s vibe on it. I feel like this could be a new classic, a new sexy, you know, bedroom classic for our generation. I love this track, and it also just feels good to, like, you know, hear and see Jhene on some real sexy shit. Like, we don't get this from her all the time, so I love that she, you know, she really gave us this track that's just like, oh, Jhene, word, like, for real, you want to take it there? So, but I appreciate this track for this energy and for the way it sounds. It just rides. It's a good track. It rides. I hope that she don't think that she's some kind of hoe. Next up, we got the track Hoe Happiness Over Everything featuring Future and Miguel. Man, I loved how they reworked Hoe. For the OG fans, y'all know Hoe was one of the tracks that came off of her first project, her first mixtape, Sailing Souls, all the way back in 2011. So for the OG fans, like y'all know, we know that track. But that version featured Miguel and Gucci Mane. So, but this was like a reworking of that track. They put like a new beat on it, and had like a new, and I also loved how like she wrote the beat and also gave the track like a new layer and a new meaning with the happiness over everything concept. It's still talking about how, like, you know, Miguel still has this hook where he's saying, you know, I hope that she don't think that I think that she's some type of hoe because she's doing what she's doing. I just know that means that she knows what she wants. So I love the meaning of this track. I love what it's talking about. I love the type of, like, you know, empowerment is given to women that out here just doing what they want to do because they know what they want. That's fine, you know, because guys out here, we do what we want to do too. So the women should be able to do that too. So yeah, such a throwback to that first track. I loved how they reworked it, and yeah, like I said, I love the way she wrote the beat as well. Very 2020 of her and her team to put Future on this new version, but I love what he did with it. I thought he was a great addition to the track. I loved his vibe on it. His voice was great on it, and yeah, I also love seeing Miguel still do the new version as well. I just love, you know, seeing Miguel still here doing his thing as well, because they both came up around the same time. Like, you know, Miguel and Jhene came up around, like, you know, 2010, 2011. They're around the same time, so I love that they're both still here and both are relevant as hell. So I love seeing that. I loved how they kind of, you know, brought everything full circle with this whole track. I love it. Just all around, just a great track, great collaboration between all three artists, and I love the vibe, and also the video is dope too. So great job, all three y'all. Good track. Salute. Going the wrong way on a one-way street. Hey. So next up we got the track One Way Street featuring H.O.E, and this was definitely one of the instant highlights to me off this album. I instantly loved it. It caught my ear immediately with the production, with the off kilter but catchy ass beat. Just the way that Jhene and H.O.E vibed over the track, it was just amazing. I love this track. This track had a really dope concept about really just like, you know, being that person that goes against the grain but being proud in it and like living in it, and you know, and continue to just do your thing no matter what everyone is telling you and no matter what people are showing you to do. You know, being that one person that's going the wrong way in a one-way street. So I really loved what this track was talking about. I can identify with just being like a loner and like being someone that's not afraid to like just, you know, living your own lane and being cool with that. So I love it. And yeah, man, like, you know, H.O.E.'s verse was crazy. He had a dope verse in the middle. You know, I always love H.O.E.'s like abstract verses. He's a dope MC that just doesn't get enough love and respect. And then after H.O.E.'s verse, Jhene had a little 16 that was just dope too, where she was like, you know, she was getting her shit off, with a really fast-paced dope flow. And then at the end we get a little breakdown with that production that's just sick at the end. I was like, what the fuck? That production at the end was just sick, the way like it just broke down. Yes, all around this track was a whole vibe, instant highlight for me. I loved everything about this track. It shifted a lot. It shifted mood wise, it shifted its production, but it was always dope all throughout. So I love this track. One Way Street, definitely my favorite tracks off this album. Such a cool concept, and I love the way it just came together. So all around, great track. Alright, next up was the track Define Me Interlude, a really powerful and ethereal short interlude where Jhene was giving us a really like cool meditation session with like an ethereal and really like, you know, peaceful soundscape in the background, with her also giving y'all a little reminder that you can't define her. I just thought this track was dope because it was like an audio meditation session, but like she was checking people too. She's like, listen, I'm gonna give you a little meditation session, but don't forget, y'all can't define me. I love how she was just like, listen, like I'm gonna be who I'm always gonna be. I'm always gonna be Jhene. I'm always gonna do me, and I'm always gonna do things my way. And you can't define who I am. You can't define where I'm going. So you can't define me, and I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. And I was like, big facts, mama, big facts. Like I loved it. So this track was dope. One of the most interesting moments on the album, and I love what she did with it. It's just a great little reminder for y'all. Like don't play me. You can't define me. So I loved it. Great. This is a really cool interlude. Next up, we got the track Surrender featuring Dr. Chill, who's her dad. I really like this track. Definitely was a highlight for me. I love the vibe on this one. Dope vibe on this track. I feel like this is like her mating call turned into a song. Like she pretty much like, listen, like you're gonna surrender to me. Like just accept it. You're gonna surrender to me and to my vibe. Just accept it and be cool with that. And I also loved how she mentioned on the song that, you know, she's like, I write all my shit and I don't play with my publishing and I take my damn time when it comes to my music. And I was like, amen. Like, let these people know, like Jhene writes all her music and she's like, I don't play with my publishing, and she really does take her time. Like she always has to have at least like 2-3 years between every album release. And you know, even though she takes her time, like she always comes out with a dope album. So I love that she put that message out there for all the artists out there. Like, you know, write your shit as much as you can, take your time, let the music be good, and do your thing. So, and I love how she incorporated that into the message of her saying like, listen, you're gonna surrender to me and you're gonna surrender to my vibe and just accept it. And shout out to her for having her dad on the track too. Really cool track all around. Really loved it. Next up is the track Trying to Smoke. A really cool song. I feel like this is gonna be a future smokers anthem, and it's safe to say I definitely love the message of the song. But also when it comes to the music, I also love the guitars in the hook as well, and I love the vocal arrangements on the track. The vocal arrangements were sick on this track. She was like, her harmonies were just insane throughout this whole thing. The hook is dope too. And I feel like it's just a really fun and chill track about, you know, just smoking and enjoying, you know, enjoying life on a higher plane. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I really loved how chill and fun this track was, but also had a little kick to it with the drums. So, you know, had a little knock to it. Yeah, and also had like a really funny ass outro at the end too. So all around, this is really fun, funny, chill track dedicated to all the smokers out there and and just living life on a higher plane. So all in all, I really loved the vibe she was on with this track, and I love the way she executed it. Dope track. Next up, we got the track Born Tired. Man, this is a really great, you know, just inspirational and real ass song about, you know, coming through and going through the BS and coming through it. You know, so this is a really good track to put on when you just in your feelings about, you know, a recent struggle you've been through, or when you just came out of a struggle, you want to celebrate that. I love the lyrics and the way she really emoted, you know, strength, but also vulnerability, but also like carefreeness at the same time, all on this one track, and you really feel it too, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, all in all, this is a really solid track. I like Born Tired. Solid track. Next up, we got the track Love. This is also another highlight for me off the album. I feel like this is a really nice, cute, timeless anthem about putting love first in life no matter what's going on. You know, we love a classic, you know, with great production and lyrics, and good lyrics, and an uplifting message too. So this track definitely had all of that, you know. And I'm such an optimist, so I feel like I love tracks like this, and I really loved her flow and the message of the track, especially her flow on the freestyle at the end of the track. I really like. So all in all, this is a really solid track, and definitely to me one of the better parts of the album. A good track. Next up, we got the track 10,000 Hours featuring Nas. I really love seeing Jhene and Nas collab for the first time. I think it's the first time they ever collabed on a track together. To me, Nas's verse was alright, but I still like this track overall. I really love the boom bap element that was brought into the track that really connected with Nas's sound, but it was still soft and smoothed out on an R&B vibe with the piano and with Jhene's voice, you know. I also like the 10,000 Hours concept in the lyrics as well, and how she also talked about towards the end of the track, she was also talking about how like we shouldn't be taking our time on earth for granted, and how we should be learning to manifest things that we want out of life. And I know those are two very good lessons in life, especially right now after, you know, after Kobe's death and everything. Like, two very important lessons: don't take our time for granted, and learn to manifest things that you want. So I really like this track and what it was talking about, and I liked like I said, I liked, even though Nas' verse is alright, I liked Nas's presence on the track as well. So all in all, this is definitely a cool track. Next up, we got the track Summer 2020 Interlude. This is a really cool short interlude in the form of a freestyle, I think. And I really loved the message of, you know, taking the good with the bad in order to really like move forward in life and grow, and to really truly exist in a really, you know, healthy way. And I also love how she connected the melody back with the 10,000 Hours track that just came right before it. So overall, this is a really cool track, which I think she's kind of like, you know, just freestyle about what's going on in her life right now, how she's feeling right now at this point in her life, and like I said, taking the good with the bad, and in order to truly live and to grow in the way we all need to, you know. So overall, really cool interlude. Next up, we got the track Morning Doves. This is another track that was sort of like another meditation session, so shout out to Jhene for that. This track wasn't my favorite off the album. It definitely wasn't a bad track. It was cool, but it just didn't catch my ear like that, but it wasn't a bad track. I really liked the Morning Doves concept, and how she was like using morning doves to represent how like a relationship can like die out, but also like I love the message of like not giving up in love, and like being hopeful for another day in love, and being hopeful for another day to try love out, and to do your thing in love. So I really like how she brought it all full circle with like using the concept of doves to represent how love can die out, but also being hopeful for more love in the future, you know. So it wasn't a bad track, but this wasn't my favorite, but it was still cool. Next up is the track Pray For You. This is a track for all the, you know, the emotionally secure and mature and grown folk out there. Who can like, you know, be mature enough to wish their exes well in their new lives and in their new relationships, and say, I'll pray for you no matter what, no matter all the fuck shit you did to me, no matter what we went through, I'll still pray for you and wish you the best. So this is a really, you know, cool track for those people who have that type of emotionally secure mentality to you know, to wish their exes well. And I love the message of it, and I also love the way it just rides. Like it's a really cool track. It just rides out, and like I said, I love the message too. Really mature and powerful message. So cool track. Next up is the track Lightning and Thunder featuring John Legend. So y'all know Jhene's always good for incorporating, you know, concepts around related to the elements in her music, and this is definitely another great example of that. I love the ballad feel of this track, and her and John Legend weren't that bad together. I feel like this track works as like a cool like redemption track for when you found new love after having gone through the BS with your ex. So I feel like that's what the song is getting at. So yeah, all around, this is a really cool track. I love what her and John Legend did with it. But the only thing for me is I feel like there was something missing within the production. But other than that, it was a really cool track. Next up, we got the track Magic Hour. A really chill vibe on this one. A really nice, smooth, relaxing, you know, hopeful and optimistic track. And this feels like one of those classic tracks from her sail out slash sold out eras, you know, from like that peak time in her career when she really had that sound going on. I feel like this feels like one of those tracks from that time in her career. So I like that she took it back to that sound. So all in all, this is a really cool track. All right, y'all, next up we have the track Party For Me featuring Ty Dolla $ign. This is the last track in the album. Man, this was an instant highlight for me. Definitely was an instant highlight. You know, listen, Jhene Aiko's a G, and I just really loved how fun and vibey this track was. And I love what she was talking about on it. Like, listen, when I die, I want y'all to party for me, party out in the streets for me. And I just love how celebratory this track felt as well. You know, it was a great way to end off the project with this vibe. This track felt like, you know, like you taking a victory lap after you won the freaking Olympics for the hood. Like, that's what it felt like, you know. And listen, y'all can't forget, Jhene Aiko gonna give you a meditation session and she could open up your chakras, but don't forget that she's still hood at the end of the day. She's still hood, and she always gonna have the hood in her, you know. Shout out to Slauson. And listen, Ty Dolla $ign was the perfect like voice, and he was the perfect artist, you know, for the vibe of this track. You know, he had a little part towards the end. I feel like he was just great for the outro of this album. He was funny. His voice is great for these type of tracks. So he was perfect for this track. He was definitely in his bag with this track. Yeah. So like I said, this is a great way to end off the album with a really celebratory feel. A really, you know, real full circle moment of just saying, listen, I've lived a good life. I'm gonna continue to live a good life, but when I die, I want y'all to party for me and keep this going. You know what I'm saying? So all in all, great track. Instant highlight, and I love what they do with this. So Jhene Aiko and Ty Dolla $ign, shout out to y'all. Cool track. Alright, y'all, so all in all, I think Chilombo was a great album. I think this was a solid project. I feel like this album was so ethereal and so calming and relaxing, and I think it definitely did what it set out to do, which was, you know, create a really relaxing and introspective atmosphere, which is definitely felt throughout the whole album, with the singing bowls that she used that, you know, really created these lush like soundscapes in the background that were kind of like, you couldn't really hear them like that, but they were there in the background, and that really helped to create this like relaxing atmosphere. And also with the vibey production from the Fisticuffs, her usual suspects who always work with her, they really created her whole sound. And also her newer producer called H.O.E, who is a Vietnamese dude. I think that's just dope. That's been giving her newer sound over the past few years too. He contributed some tracks to Trip, and now he pretty much produced most of this album as well as the Fisticuffs. So, you know, between you know, the Fisticuffs and H.O.E and her incorporating the singing bowls, it really created this lush, you know, relaxing, introspective atmosphere that really helped this album really be, I think, the album that just stands out from the pack a little bit, while still having moments on the album that you know, that'll still knock in the whip. Like, you still have tracks here that'll still knock at a party, knock in the whip, while still being among tracks that are more introspective and more relaxing and calming, and really make you think and really make you get in your feels, you know. So I feel like this album had a great balance of all of that, you know. This album really feels like a kind of like a love child, created from pieces of all of her older projects. You know, we get a little bit of, you know, Sail Out and Sold Out. We get a little bit of Trip, and, you know, we get a little bit of some of her other stuff too. Which I think is dope. While still being able to feel, you know, real to where she's at in her life right now, and it still feels like, you know, it still feels like this is her just journaling and really chronicling, like, you know, what she's been through recently. You know, it still feels up to date, and it still feels like a current reflection of what's going on in her life right now. You know what I'm saying? Especially with all the tracks that allude to, you know, the things she's gone through with Big Sean. You know, the things she's gone through with her realizing how important it is to, like, you know, write her music and own her publishing and all that stuff. Like, there's a lot she touched on with this album called Growing as a Woman, and her learning a lot of lessons, her being more carefree and more vulnerable, but also more strong than ever at, you know, at this point in her life. Yeah, I think some great examples of a lot of that, a lot of those themes include tracks like, especially like Hoe Happiness Over Everything. I think that's a great example of a track where she's at a new point in her life where she's like, listen, I just want happiness over everything, compared to what I've been through in the past. Also BS, One Way Street, Define Me, and Surrender. I think those are all tracks that kind of touch on that. I think the features throughout the album were all pretty great, and I feel like the album just flowed so well, and I feel like it was perfectly sequenced. Like, there was never any like crazy transitions where I felt like, oh, we went from this vibe to that vibe. Like, it was, for some reason, even though there were so many different you know, like moods on the album. You know, we had, you know, tracks that were like savage, we had tracks that were sexy, we had tracks that were introspective and in your feels, we had tracks that were optimistic, we had tracks that, you know, where she's talking about her hurt and pain. Like, there was so many different moods, but for some reason it all flowed so well, and it all came together, and it all felt like this one amazing unified vibe, you know. So I really, you know, can't, you know, just tip my hat off enough to Jhene for just still being in her bag with being able to create an album that just touches on so many different things and talks about so many different things that have so many different moods on it, while all still feeling like one large piece of an amazing you know, body of work, and one amazing project that just delivers that just delivers like one amazing feeling to you as a listener, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, Jhene Aiko is such a consistent album maker, and this is, you know, this is definitely nothing different. To the point where I'm geeked anytime she drops an album. I'm geeked. I'm excited anytime I hear that she's about to drop, because she's that consistent. And I don't know where this lies in her catalog right now, but it's definitely up there. I don't know. I can't. I feel like all her albums are so consistent that I don't even know where this ranks right now, but it's definitely up there. This is a great project. I love what she did with it, and I'm just excited that she's still been so consistent after all these years, you know. So shout out to Jhene, great project. I love it. If I had to give my favorite tracks, I'll probably say Trigger Freestyle, BS with her, Pussy Fairy on the Way, Happiness Over Everything, One Way Street with Ab-Soul, love that track, Surrender with Dr. Chill, her dad, I love that track. I also love Love and Party For Me with Ty Dolla $ign. Those are probably my favorite tracks off the album, but every track on this album is solid. And if I had to give my rating, I think I would give this album a 4 out of 5. I thought about a 4.5 out of 5, but I think it's a little bit too high. So I'm gonna give this album a 4 out of 5. Definitely nothing less. This album is solid. It's well made. You know, you could tell that she took her time with it. It's just a great project. And yeah, definitely nothing less than a 4. So I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. But let me know what y'all think about that rating down below. Alright, y'all, so that's my review for Jhene Aiko's new album, Chilombo. Hope you enjoyed the review. Hope you enjoyed my track by track breakdown, and also just my overall review of the album. But you know, now let me know what y'all thought about the album. Let me know what were your favorite tracks, your least favorite tracks. Let me know what you thought about the album as a whole. Let me know what you know, where you think this album ranks in her catalog. You know, just give me all your thoughts about this album. Give it to me down below, and I want to hear what y'all think, okay? And if you haven't already, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Alright, appreciate y'all. And like I always say, guys, live your best life, drink more water, stay woke, and if you're mad or sad, go listen to your favorite song, okay? It'll make you feel better. Go listen to your favorite song. Or go listen to one of these songs, because it's definitely going to help you get through whatever you're going through. Alright, y'all, but this has been your boy Bright, the R&B Kid. Thank you for watching, but for now, I'm signing off, baby. Bye, y'all. Peace.
I came to vibe, you came to function, just do that, baby. Don't worry about nothing, no, 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 no. I came to vibe, you came to function, just do that, baby. Don't worry about nothing, no, no, no. Relax just a little bit. You don't gotta worry, you can just have fun.